I mean, wicked can just be more than just a descriptor word. Like it can be an
An
actual
adjective.
noun.
Barding. Ah.
These
I don't know
things.
any of these things besides
How
Bree's
do you
hockey
how do you
journey.
We got our first hater the other day.
shout out to my dad?
That made me mad. Now I'm triggered.
Oh, and god damn it. What a pro wants. What a pro wants. Folks, welcome to episode 78 of the Bread Loves Hockey Podcast. And we're proud to have Dean's dad, Steve, join us once again. Steve, thanks for taking the time.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me back. It's been a
Yeah.
while. As you kids say, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute, a hot minute.
A hot minute. It has
You
been a
also
hot
say
minute.
that?
Almost a year, right, Dean? You said since the
Yeah.
last time we recorded with Steve.
And I was looking at the Discord video log, and then there's also, I remember like in April you accidentally called this group, because I remember my mom was like, why
Oh.
did Brendan just kind of call the Discord?
Oh.
Whoopsies.
But yeah, hopefully. Go
I'm
ahead.
not happy that I'm portrayed as a hater in your intro.
I love that. I love that clip.
Hey, any press is good press, right?
That's
At
true.
least someone's
that's true.
commenting on our videos.
Right. And we've got some very entertaining voicemails from you in the past as
Yeah.
well. So heavily featured in a positive way, I hope, on the channel.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, got some good time in the season 1 compilation, especially for only being on for one time. So
That's true. That's
pretty
true.
impressive. I think Zach has the most like soundboard clips though. Like
He
Can't
does have a lot of good ones.
must be a Bruins fan thing.
Yeah, very animated.
Right.
Yeah. Which I guess we can just start with, because the Bruins had been holding on for dear life into a playoff spot, but not by points percentage, just because they had all extra games played over Tampa mainly. But now it's not looking so good, is it?
No.
They're in a wild card spot right now. They have 56 points. Tampa has 55, but we've played 3 more games. We've played 2 more games than Columbus, who has 1 less point than us, and 2 more games than Detroit, who has 3 less points, and Montreal is the same as Detroit. So they keep throwing the standings like during the Bruins games, obviously, and it's like all these teams with 52, 53 points creeping up on the Bruins.
Yeah, it's dicey.
And giving up 7 goals is definitely not a winning formula.
Especially against the Sabres.
Yeah.
What was really scary last week was that the Bruins were actually behind Montreal in points for a day or so.
Yeah.
Little scary. We have brought up before that the Canadians as a franchise have never missed the playoffs for 4 or more consecutive seasons. So this would be their 4th year without playoffs if they didn't make it this year. So it just adds a little bit to the intrigue of their season. Of course, they're a big franchise, but I'm sure you guys are hoping that they make history this year.
Oh, yeah.
Right, definitely.
Well, that's the one thing Owen and I can agree on, is that we'd rather have the Sens in than the Habs.
Yeah.
Right.
I assume you agree with that, Dad.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was the playoff series years ago that Senators beat the Bruins. That was a good series, but I'd say at this point it's 50-50 whether the Bruins even make the playoffs, but
Yeah, but yeah, my hate for the Senators comes from that playoff series.
Dean hated
Yeah.
that series.
Eric Carlson.
yeah.
And just like the trap game kind of that the Sens were employing throughout.
Yeah.
I know. I
You
just
know,
remember
Right.
the complaints
That word
from Dean.
triggers me.
Yeah, and then they didn't even make it to the finals that year, which was too
No.
bad. But it was a pretty fun run for the Sens, and they haven't been back to the playoffs since. They're sitting in 3rd in the Atlantic right now, 3 points behind Florida with a game in hand. Or sorry, excuse me, 5 points behind Florida with a game in hand. So probably not going to be creeping up beyond third at best, but they're staying alive right now.
I just pulled up the money puck odds to make the playoffs.
Ooh.
The Sens are at 69.6%.
Ayo.
And the Bruins are at 32.4.
Ooh, so that's
Really?
not even 50-50.
No,
Oh,
but I
wow.
mean, I guess you could argue that our three best defenders are injured. I mean, Carlo recently, but Lindholm's been out forever. McAvoy's been out for a bit now.
That
So,
is going to
like,
make things
maybe
tough.
when they get healthy.
And you guys have no
Yeah.
depth, like, as far as major, like, prospects either, for the most part. I mean, I'm sure you've got
No.
some, like, you've got Lowry and
We've been looking good.
Waterspoon and Peak, I guess. But
Yeah,
it's
Laura's
not
been
like
the one
the
bright
best.
spot this season.
Yeah. I mean, last night the starting D was Zadorov and Peak. I mean, that's not going to
Yeah, and like
much
Osterley's
for.
okay
Oh, Osterley, yeah.
And he had the players offside last night.
because he's
And
the
so did
only, or no, he's a lefty.
he's Peak
Peak
was
was
the only righty last night.
Oh, I think I remember seeing that.
Carlo and
So,
McAvoy are the other two righties.
Oh,
yeah.
that's going to make things tough.
And
You
even
could use
like,
Kevin Shattenkirk.
yeah. What was it? Even Patra hasn't been looking that good. Like I feel like defensively he's kind of been lost a lot.
No, yeah, he's not a great skater, and he gets caught. And the other thing too about him is the same thing when he started the season last year. He seems to tail off the more he plays. Like when they first brought him up this season, he was doing well, but I don't know what the story is with him, but
Yeah. I mean, the one
I
thing
don't
I've
know.
liked is like an offense. He's a really good possession guy. Like he doesn't turn it over a lot. He keeps the puck, gets a good pass to a teammate. But like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It also, like you said, it seems like he'll play with like a lot of fire, I guess, when he first comes up, and then maybe get complacent. I don't know, but
I don't
I remember
know.
everyone saying when the Bruins were doing bad, like, why is Patra still in the AHL? Bring him up. And then we brought him
Right,
up, and now
right.
it's like, maybe
Oh, I
maybe they
see.
saw
He's-
something the fans didn't. I don't know.
It's just surprising I mean, he had a great year before. He obviously had the season ending injury, but he had a great start.
Right.
So I'm sure that's why, yeah, a ton of Bruins fans are like, especially with the depth kind of at all positions being questions a bit this year, like you need someone who produced well last year to step up. Like I'm not surprised that people were like expecting him to play well. So it's
Right,
disappointing.
right.
Vinny Lettieri, he's kind of okay.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah,
traded for
not
him,
bad.
right? Or picked him up off waivers or something. I think I remember talking about that a little bit ago.
I don't remember
Well,
where
I'm
he came
looking.
from.
So he played one game for the Bruins in the 22-23 season, and then he played 46 games for the Wild last year. I don't know if it just went back and forth on waivers. I don't remember.
I don't know, he might have been a free agent they're signing over the summer.
Well, he's currently signed under the contract that Bill Guerin signed for the Wild, so I think they must have picked him up off waivers.
Yeah.
I know Cap Friendly used to show. Oh wait, there it is. Oh, trade. Yeah. Okay, it was a trade. I thought he was in a trade.
That was the no, that wasn't part of the.
Oh, where is it?
Say, Einens, that was Vancouver.
Who did you guys trade for that was in Minnesota that wasn't Vinny? Or who did you guys give to?
It was like our other. It was like a weird prospect for prospect trade,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Oh, it might have been.
Oh no, it was just a fourth round pick, I guess. There was that one trade that Lauco, that's it.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
'Cause I remember we talked about it, and I was like, "What a weird trade!"
I
Like,
do
let's carry
remember
for
that. Like,
Lauco.
okay. Yeah, we didn't move the needle a whole lot. But I guess that's good that he's getting an opportunity and taking advantage of it. Like, do you think he's outperforming what Lauco would have done? I mean, we're like, it's It's kind of
splitting
Yeah,
hairs. They're
splitting
both
hairs a bit.
only going to play in the lineup with injuries for the most
I
part.
don't know what Lauko's doing in Minnesota.
I haven't seen his name a whole lot.
Yeah.
They're playing right now.
He
Maybe he's
has
doing something.
2 goals and 2 assists in 29 games.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
He's scored more goals than I
Flying
have.
now.
I'll give him that.
Um,
Oh, he got a point tonight. He got his 3rd assist of the
Wow.
wow.
season. All
That's
right.
because we talked about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, there's been chiclets where it's like the podcast bump or whatever they call it.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
They come on for an interview and then they play great after.
That's good. We'll give a player a bump if they want.
Yeah, and if they want to come on.
Yeah, feel free. Contact us. We've got the information right on your screen.
There you go. I think a player that doesn't need a bump anymore is Jeremy Swayman. He's finally playing better.
Yeah, yeah, he is definitely. Last night there was, I think, one goal he'd probably like to have back, but for the most part, he's back to where he should be.
Yeah. Now we just need the team and the goaltending to be good at the same time.
I think the problem with this team, I think over the summer, they built the team for the playoffs, like getting Zadorov, getting bigger, stronger defense.
Yeah.
But they forget you have to get into the playoffs before you can have a team that's built for the playoffs.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, Elias Lindholm, obviously they overpaid for him, but he was the only, first or second line center that was available at the time, and they had to do something. But the defense, Hampus Lindholm is great during the regular season, but come playoffs he disappears, except for
The one goal.
one game in the playoffs. If he doesn't play the way he did, it was probably his best game ever. They lose that game to Toronto and don't go on. But other than that, for the last 3 years, he's kind of disappeared. So I think Zadorov was brought in to protect him. And without Hampus Lindholm in the lineup, that's why they're, trying to get into the playoffs rather than being like a top 3 team. So
Right.
that's my 2 cents about it anyway.
No, I agree. I mean, there were a lot of question marks about the Zadorov and Elias Lindholm contracts when they got signed, like about being an overpay. And then again with like they're getting bigger and basically slower, and Neely being like, oh, it's just kind of like a coincidence. Like we were building for speed, and they just happened to have an average height of 6'5" on the blue line or whatever.
Right.
He didn't really like say we got bigger on purpose, but it's also kind of funny because for years Bruins fans have been like, we need to be big and tough if we want to beat like the Panthers or whoever in the playoffs. And
Right.
now we're a big team and slow and can't score.
Yeah.
The other thing too is like the like Elias Lindholm isn't I would say he's not a number 1 center.
No.
And as much as I love Patrice Bergeron, and I've talked to you about this before, Dean, that I never considered him a number 1 center, because even when the Bruins last time they won the Stanley Cup, 2011, Krejci was the number 1 center, but I don't know.
So yeah, I mean, Krejci was the more gifted goal scorer and playing like offensive guy.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess Bergeron being a 2-way. I feel like if you're good enough 2-way, you can be a first liner. But yeah, generally your first line center is like a scoring type.
Right.
But back then was Krejci on the first power play? Like I don't remember who like the bumper was, or if it even.
I don't
had, like,
remember that either.
Yeah.
I don't even think they didn't really use a bumper back then. much. I
Yeah,
don't
when I was
think.
first getting, I mean, I didn't know power play strategy when I started watching at that time, so I
Yeah,
didn't pay
yeah.
attention to it.
But anyway,
They don't really have those types right now, though. Like, yeah, Lindholm, I agree. I don't think he has the same scoring ceiling that Krejci did at his heights. If we're just comparing past
right.
top centers for the team, and I mean, he hasn't really like the chemistry with him and Pasta. I know has been kind of questioned a little bit in the past. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't, and it's kind of surprising because it seems like they would fit well together. Like they're both
Right.
good skilled playmakers. Like Pasta's more of a sharpshooter and Lindholm's a little bit more of a passer. So I feel like that
Mm.
would work. Have you guys like felt that it just hasn't been as advertised?
Yeah,
Definitely, yeah. I mean, they're not even playing together now because it's
Hmm.
the first line is Pasternak, Zucker, and Geeky.
Oh
are you
yeah.
surprised by the Pasta and
Doesn't
Geeky
throw.
chemistry that's developed? 'Cause I
It's
am.
true. Um,
Geeky's our best goal scorer now.
Geeky.
behind Boston,
He's
but
popping off.
He has been scoring a lot lately. Yeah, I didn't realize that's because he had been moved all the way up, but that makes some sense.
yeah,
I'm like, there's no way
yeah,
he'd be playing third line minutes and scoring this many times. So
no,
I don't think it's
and
ideal to have him on the first line though.
I don't think so either. No, and it seems like Pasternak this year. I don't know whether he's become more of a playmaker than a scorer. He's like giving up shots to pass. Sometimes not it's not the right decision, but I don't know. But he has become hot lately, so
He
he's like
has.
the one of the bright spots on the team.
Yeah, 4 goals in his last 5 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's good.
I think the Bruins have always had the issue though of just passing when they should shoot. Like the amount of 2-on-1s or whatever. Where I'm like, just shoot the puck, please.
Right, right.
Especially if the team is like already not scoring that well or as often as they like, and then you kind of start overthinking things, and you're looking for the best play because you just haven't been putting it in, and then
And if the
yeah,
guy with the puck on
Yeah.
the 2-on-1 is the goal scorer and the other guy is the playmaker, don't pass it to the playmaker.
yeah,
Take the shot.
Right, right. And the other thing that's driving me crazy is that they score a goal and they let the other team score a goal about it within a minute later after they score. There's
Yeah. Seems like another
it's like,
classic Bruins thing that they've done in the past.
yeah. At least they're not doing it like I don't know. It was 2 or 3 years ago. They used to give up a goal in the last minute of a period,
mm,
like
Hmm.
the most in the league. It was crazy.
Especially like the third period with when the other team had their goalie pulled. I'm like, well, they're gonna tie it.
Yeah, yeah,
that is tough to yeah watch a team that consistently doesn't finish. That hasn't really
Hmm.
been a problem for Vegas this year, luckily. Like they've been a really good third period team up until kind of recently. They've been struggling in January. They just lost to Dallas last night in overtime,
right.
but they're still doing all right. I think they're actually second in the Pacific for the first time in a while, which obviously we're not quite in the same situation team wise, but um, I am not super concerned that they're not gonna
Mm.
get out of it. So it's like
And your team is
okay.
relatively healthy, right?
For the most part,
And you have young guys like Dorofiev, who's having like I guess, would you call it a breakout year? He had a good year
oh
last year
yeah,
too.
yeah. I
So
mean, he's already scored the most goals he has in a season. Um, he's been really strong on the power play too. I think he's at 21 or 22 goals for the year, which is the team lead. So
Mm.
yeah, I think he'll probably hit the 30 goal mark by the end of the year at least. Um,
Eichel's been having a good year too.
he's been really good. He's on
Mm.
or him and Hurdle were on some pretty good runs. I think Hurdle's on a 10-game point streak. Um, so yeah, we've had some really bright spots. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't think that we have too many guys that are that are out right now. Carlson is out. Petrangelo is he's not out, but he's playing through something, and we just saw that he will be sitting out for the Four Nations tournament to tend to this ailment, whatever it is.
Right.
Classic Golden Knight activities.
Well, it sounds like they were discussing it on the broadcast, and I think it's like one of those injuries, like maybe a groin thing or something, where you can play through it, but like you'll slowly be like making it worse. So if you like have the time to take, which you don't normally have during the regular season, to rest, like I think it could help him out for the rest of the season, even though he can play through it right now.
Like, how many hockey players are playing through injuries right now where it's like, be like, oh, well, I have a bum shoulder or whatever. Like, I could use the rest too instead of playing in the tournament. Like, I don't know.
How do you feel about that as far as should it be like the All-Star game? If you don't go, you get get suspended for a game during the season, or
It sounds like that's what they were doing. Like,
No,
that was
they're
the
not
plan,
doing
right?
that.
Okay.
No, I don't have a problem with it. Like I think that it should be allowed for them to not participate. Personally, like I don't know. I don't think it should be a big because especially because it's like a one-time event. I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't need.
So what about the All-Star game then? Do you feel the same way that it should be optional?
Um. Yeah, I guess so.
But like then you would never get to see the superstars. I mean, some of them would still go, but like Obi would never be there.
I'd rather go golfing in Playa del Carmen than go
Yeah.
to the All-Star game.
Yeah.
But the
That's tough.
I think what's tough about the Four Nations thing is it's not like international hockey like the Olympics. It's run by the NHL, so it's kind of like the same thing as an All-Star game. Well, it's in lieu of the All-Star game this year, so
It's also like you're actually playing like physical hockey in the tournament where you're not going to be doing that during the All-Star game. So I feel like at least in that way, like
that's true.
it's a lot more likely that you're going to get injured or exacerbate an injury that you already had before the tournament versus like in the All-Star game where it's like, okay, I'm going to be doing the skills competition and then I'm going to be doing 3-on-3 or whatever.
Fake hockey.
Fake hockey,
No,
yeah.
no defense. Yeah, I'm interested to see how competitive it really is because I mean they're obviously advertising like it's best on best. Like the players want to win for their country. So we'll see. Like it's not. I don't think it's going to be Olympic level competitive or anything because again it's like this manufactured tournament to kind of get a similar feel. But like I wonder how much pride the players have for like this fake tournament that just kind of got started this year as opposed to the Olympics, which like I don't know holds more weight.
Right.
I was going to say you might not see the intensity until like the finals. Honestly,
Right.
it's like all right, now that we've at least made it this far, I guess we'll go for it.
So I don't know if you've noticed on the if you watching the Bruins, if you see the commercials during the game, they're still selling tickets for the TD Garden for the finals.
They're so expensive,
still,
apparently.
yeah, they're still advertising it. I mean, it's not sold out yet. So
Yeah, I heard the sales have been really slow.
yeah,
Because the starting price is like $200 or whatever.
Mm,
Yeah, I just don't know how much like an interest there really is for fans to like just because it's a one-time thing. It's only the four teams, the four countries.
right.
It's like I don't know. I know this is not what really we're looking for, and I'd rather spend that money like going to either an actual Bruins game or like maybe I would go if it wasn't $200 a ticket minimum. Like if it was more reasonable, it's just like yeah, I can't justify going.
Well, no, I'm thinking because like the World Cup of hockey in 2016, I'm like that's pretty cool, and that was basically the same thing. It was even more like I keep using the word fake, but like Team North America, or like just all the players under whatever age it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd pay money to see that. So I don't know what the difference is between that U.S. versus Canada as opposed to this. Like it's basically the same thing.
Right, right.
Maybe it's the time of year it is. Like that was beginning of the year as opposed to this is in the middle of the season.
True. I wonder how the ticket sales for Montreal are doing.
Yeah, I have no idea on that.
I think they're both lower than they expected them to be. But,
Well, we'll see if you know there end up being cheaper tickets by the end. The event's coming up here. It's February 13th, I believe, is the first day.
we're gonna say 12th, but maybe 13th.
I feel like I've seen 12th and 13th in advertising before, but
maybe one's the first day in Boston, one's the first day in Montreal. I don't know.
Maybe.
No, because they're playing the games in Montreal and then they move to Boston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all in Montreal for like the round robin portion of it, and then the playoff, like the final bracket, is in Boston.
It's the 12th.
Well,
Canada versus Sweden, and then the next day is U.S. versus Finland.
Well, there we go.
And yeah, the other news, well, they just announced today that the captains will be announced tomorrow. So
Oh,
on
damn.
Thursday we'll get the captains for each of the teams announced.
All right. Well,
We're a day early, but you know,
yeah, it happens.
we can't time the news every week like we did last episode.
Yeah, that was impeccable.
That was
timing last
perfect.
week.
Yeah. Shout out to Zane.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that message, and thanks for Dean for checking his phone during the episode
Yeah.
so we could see it.
What were your thoughts, Dad, on the Rantanen trade?
You know, it's funny when I first heard it, I said, you know, the Hurricanes definitely made out on it, and I thought that Colorado did okay, and I thought Chicago, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
But the more I hear about it, the more I still think the Canes made out better. But if the Avalanche has done it to free up money and they're expecting to make another move, I don't know what it would be, but
Sidney Crosby.
huh?
I said Sidney Crosby.
Nah, no shot.
But- no. But anyway, if they can someone else big before the trade deadline, they might be winners too. And then I heard, you know, everyone says, you know, Chicago, they lost Taylor Hall, got a third round pick, and you know, $5 million
Yeah.
that they're taking, almost $5 million. But other people that I've heard say that, you know, Taylor Hall, even at they weren't going to re-sign him,
Yeah.
and they would only get like a third or fourth round pick for him at that time, which I figured he'd go higher, but smarter people than me say no.
Yeah.
And but and then they free. I think he was making $6 million or something. So
Something like that. Well,
yeah,
I think
don't know.
the way it worked out is the team saves $500,000. So that was one of
Yeah.
the reasons, like the franchise, they're obviously a business, so they're saving $500,000 in the rest of the season. So it's like the fans don't care about that, but the team does.
Right. So, but I think that's the only reason the Bruins beat Colorado that the next day was because
Maybe.
Nate McKinnon was in mourning and
Yeah.
you know,
Aegis was looking pretty good though.
yeah. I mean, he's a good player, so
Yeah.
it's not
He's had a
like
great year.
and yeah, and Drury is I don't know, is he a middle six? Maybe
That's probably
Yeah,
like
I
his
think-
ceiling, I think. He has scored
And
for
then-
them already.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So maybe it's one of those deals that's a win-win-win.
Could be. I mean, the big thing will be to see if Rantanen re-signs with the Canes because
Right.
I mean the whole thing was he wanted supposedly a lot of money, and Colorado just kind of like called his bluff, I guess you could call it. And they're like, well, before dealing with this, we're just gonna, if there's a trade available, we're gonna take it and send him and get what we can back.
Right.
Um, so if Rantanen is trying to get a lot of money from a team where he's won a cup and like you would think would be pretty loyal, has a really good friend in McKinnon, and
Yeah.
still walks or gets traded, whatever. Who's to say he doesn't do the same thing in Carolina? Like either, well, if he asks for 14, then it's up to Carolina if they want to pay him something absurd like that or not. But I'm guessing they would just probably shell out the money if you've already
Right.
like you've made the trade. Normally,
You
when like
kind of
GMs do
have
that,
to.
if you make a trade for someone like that, you can't just like not sign them.
Yeah.
Well, that happened with Gensel last
Yeah, that's
year.
true. Yeah.
Yeah,
They,
you wouldn't want to do it twice.
I know,
Yeah.
but and I've heard stuff that after the season, maybe he'll resign with Colorado.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
hear all kinds of things, and you heard that he was willing to take a discount. That his agent has said, and he's said, and you never know because they all lie.
Right.
It's
It's
there's
like,
Well,
no
what's
Colorado said they were
Rantanen's
willing to
discount?
make him the highest paid winger, which
right,
Panarin's the
right,
highest paid winger at like 11.8 or whatever. So he could get like 12, but it sounded like Rantanen, if he was saying market value, maybe he was comparing it to if he considers himself a top 5 or 10 player. He's looking at
right,
Draisaitl, who just signed, and he's like, well, I'll take a little less than him because I'm a little less like skilled than him, even though
right,
he's a center. So I mean, you can definitely see where like there might have been some disconnect on what the price point was.
right, right.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we'll obviously keep an eye on it, see if an extension is signed during the season. At this point, since it didn't happen like shortly after the trade or like at the time the trade was going on, I'd expect we wouldn't see something until the off season. After the Canes have
mm,
had their season and we see what they do. Like if they win the cup, either he wants to stay because they just won, or he's like, okay, I had fun here. I'm gonna go make my money in Buffalo now, or this is throwing out somebody who has the money to pay him, like
That could use
right,
some
right.
help.
Chicago or something. Yeah, that would be
If
Well,
if
that would be funny.
if if right now as Colorado and the Hurricanes are staffed, if they met in the Stanley Cup final, who do you think would win?
um,
Oh
I'd
man,
say Colorado, assuming they're healthy.
Yeah,
Um, got the experience. Everyone always puts all the
yeah, they've
playoff
done it.
experience. I mean, Carolina has playoff experience too, but not like super deep, other than getting swept
right.
by the Bruins that one year in the conference final.
Yeah,
Yeah, they haven't
yeah.
won
So
a game in the conference finals in a little while now.
Yeah.
So
uh,
Yeah, because they got swept twice in the conference finals, right?
yeah, because they got swept by
yeah,
Florida
But
a
Brendan Moore
couple
said that
years
wasn't
ago.
actually a sweep, so.
Right. He's like,
that's right.
if you watched any of these games, you'd know this wasn't a
Yeah, we didn't
sweep.
really get
It's
swept.
like, okay, but technically and actually, you did lose 4 games in a row,
Yeah.
Right.
and so yeah,
Did you Colorado or
I'd
Bruins?
probably lean Colorado too. Um,
Mm,
yeah, I mean the experience. You never know with what the Canes goaltending situation is gonna. I mean both teams, but at least like Blackwood has looked good. Um, both of the Woods have looked good for
Woods.
Miles Wood's back too. He came back from his
he
back injury.
very good.
Mm,
They're loaded
Yeah.
up.
The trio.
The trio got the boys are back in town.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just tough with the Canes. They haven't gotten over that hump with this core, and it's like,
mm,
especially if you haven't made the finals in a while, like you don't always win it your first go around with that group.
Right.
Saw that with Florida. Saw that with Vegas. You know, plenty of other groups. So that's how I would lean.
You agree, Dad? Colorado?
I do, yes, yeah. So that would mean Colorado won the trade deal.
Yeah, that
No,
would.
no, it doesn't.
Well,
But
the last thing I was gonna say on Rantanen was we know the Hurricanes like to do the deferred money thing, so that could also be an option. But we've also talked
Right.
about that maybe not being a thing with big contracts. So
yeah,
like
we haven't
Draisaitl was
seen
not
that.
interested in that at all. But maybe Rantanen, if it's like, well, you can get the money in 15 years or whatever. Like
Mm,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think the big name guys are more likely to do the signing bonus, like like Draisaitl did, where he, like, oh yeah, here's a gigantic check, right off the rip, and then you get paid like $2 million per year in actual salary
right.
for
Yeah.
like the rest of the contract. So yeah, we'll see. I think if that hypothetical cup final happened, I would be rooting for the Canes though, just because I'm not really a big Avs fan, and they kind of already had
Mm,
their run, a few years back. So just
right.
for that sake, I would push for the Canes. But yeah, we got plenty of time before we get to playoff picture and knowing the matchups and all that. Um, so we'll keep an eye on it, of course.
Mm-hmm. Um, since you just updated the hat trick and past the cup stuff, want to go through that?
Yeah, we haven't really provided an update in the last couple of episodes, so our apologies for leaving you guys
Well, now's
out of the
a
loop.
great time to do it. I'm on a bit of a streak.
Dean is doing pretty well. So Gifford's still leading the way in hat tricks with 23. Dean then in second place with 21. Owen in third with 19. I'm now in fourth with 18, and then Zach in last with 14. So
Mm,
I was in second a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, I have been on quite the cold streak. And meanwhile, Dean had 3 consecutive days with a hat trick. He's looking to
Hat
make
trick
it
of hat
four
tricks.
tonight. Yeah,
wow.
pretty good. I I think we had one other run. Yeah, Owen had one of those. I've actually had
Well, I'm
one of
looking.
those.
Gifford has had 3, I think, or maybe it's 2.
He's had looks like 2. Well, it's 3 because one day there was no questions and he had it in between there. So I think he's had 3.
Trying to find where the third one is now.
Oh no, I think it's just 2. Anyways,
Anyway,
that's how hat tricks are going. We actually got a lot more info on here now as far as Gifford put the shared
we're
answers
we're
in here.
a couple stats nerds. Like it would be cool to know this. We should have a hat trick of hat trick stat.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, we just add the shared answers because we wanted to see who had matching answers the most often, which I knew would be me and Gifford because
Yeah.
we agree. But
Uh,
And they're number 1 and number 2 right now. So maybe I should be hopping on
yeah,
the
hop on the
Gifford and Dean
bandwagon.
train.
mm,
And then for past the cup, I had a little run going with Washington, but then they lost to Vancouver, which unfortunately Owen has, who is in first place with 17, Brendan in second with 15, and I'm in third with 13. Gifford with 3, Zach with 4. So
Yeah.
seems to be a
wow.
three-man race right now, but things can change quick in this game.
I was really hoping that Seattle would beat Washington when they had their chance, so I could get the cup back, and every one of my drafted teams would have at least
Oh,
1 point. We'll see. That probably won't happen now. Just you only get so many chances, but
yeah, the
but
Caps are
Mm.
carrying me
we'll
with
see.
10 of my 13.
Yeah, that's crazy. Definitely a very
So,
lopsided build.
Yeah.
so that reminds me, the Caps last year were in a similar position as the Bruins. I mean, they
Hmm.
made the playoffs, but the goal differential was like horrible, which
Yep,
the
minus
Bruins is
37.
now. So that gives me hope that if the Bruins can turn it around in one season like the Capitals, I don't know how they did it,
Right. Just
but it is a
I
squeaking
don't
into
think
a
they know
spot.
how they did it either. They're
no,
like, we
no.
don't really
I
have a lot
mean,
of superstars.
it didn't work out great for them anyway, but
Well, no,
I
No,
would take
but
just making the playoffs,
yeah,
win
Yeah.
a game at least, a playoff game. That'd be cool.
Squeak in this year, and then you get the President's Trophy next season.
Mm-hmm.
that's right.
Of course, we'll see
Yeah.
what they do with it. The Caps have never done very well in the playoffs the years that they've had the President's Trophy. So
Mm,
we'll see. I feel like some Caps fans are like, could we lose like a little bit more, maybe?
yeah,
I feel like the last few years, my expectation for the Bruins has been win at least one round, and this year it's just make the playoffs.
Yeah.
right.
It kind of shows where we're at. Like, I mean, been talking about the window closing for like a decade now. It seems like, because like, oh well, Krejci and Bergeron retired, it's definitely closed, and it's like, oh well, actually they're gonna win the President's Trophy and
Oh,
all this stuff, and then last year was pretty good too, and then this year might finally be it.
yeah. Well, part of the Capitals' success, and this is an Owen segue. Segue is Logan Thompson
Oh,
has been playing
yeah,
great,
he has been pretty good.
and he was just rewarded, wasn't he?
He sure was. Big extension.
Big
6 years,
deal.
5.85 million.
Mm,
Seems pretty fair, especially with the cap going up as we've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
right.
I I would have liked to have had him still on the team, but obviously it sounds like there's some rift there between him and Bruce Cassidy that kind of pushed the the relationship to the brink, and that's why
Mm,
he's also not on Team Canada because Cassidy is an assistant coach for Team Canada. So he's having a great year. Happy for him as a player. Again, wish he was not in Washington, but at least it's an East Coast team. Like that's fine. Um, and yeah, I mean I've got his jersey on the wall right there. So big
ah,
fan of his.
I assume if he
Deserves
was
it.
still on Vegas and signed for that contract, you'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be pretty happy with that. I mean, if we had Hill and Thompson as a
mm,
tandem, but then it's like, can you really justify making Hill the backup? Like you'd be paying a lot of money for that. Like
How
that's
much
the
does
only
Hill make?
concern. I think it's like around five something.
Yeah, so I mean, 11 million for goalies isn't terrible. If you look at Bobrovsky, he makes that alone. So
Well, yeah, I mean we've obviously been criticized for that in the past with the whole Flurry and Lehner
oh yeah.
situation.
right.
Aiden Hill, yeah, he's making 4.9 million, yeah, for one more season.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean you could try it for 1 year. Again, this is all hypothetical, or I guess it could be Thompson and Samsonov if you had traded Hill to the Caps instead. But um, yeah, I would be pretty happy with that, especially the way that he's played this year. Like I kind of always knew he was gonna be a starter in the NHL. I figured he would be one for Vegas because that was just the trajectory that he was on, and he'd been playing well for us for most of his time with the organization. So I believed in him for a long time, and yeah, just glad to see him doing well.
Mm-hmm. Another signing was Will Borgen, 5 years, 4.1 million. After having played like 15 games for the Rangers, like we like what we see.
Yeah,
Here's 5 years.
that's
I don't,
that's a big one.
I don't even think I've seen him play.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
part of the Kako deal. So,
Oh,
um, so yeah, he's pretty new to the team, but he's been gelling really well, and obviously he got rewarded. We'll see. I don't know. I feel like it's a little early to give him a 5 year deal, but I guess we'll see. Like if they really do see something in him, and like everything is just aligning with the way that the Rangers like play, it could work out really well. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, he joined the team, and now the Rangers are good. So it's like coincidence,
yeah.
probably, but
But we're still gonna pay you.
yeah.
Yeah.
They have been doing a lot better. They're obviously a lot closer to the playoff picture than they were, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So they're definitely not out of it. They're 3 points out of a playoff spot right now, which was kind of ludicrous to even think about maybe a month or so ago. But it's gonna be a fight. I mean, they've got a lot of other teams to compete with that are all in that range, like we mentioned earlier.
It is crazy, the Eastern Conference. So tight in the lower positions there.
Yeah.
It's a lot more interesting than the West, I think, as far as the wild card race. There's like 3, maybe 4 teams in the West realistically that are competing for a spot, and then there's like 7 in the East.
Yeah, I don't like that this is the year the Bruins are like sitting in that wild card spot. I'd love to be like top of the division again, just looking at all that and be like, sucks for those
Don't
guys.
have to worry about that. Yeah.
Like, we'll just play one of them, I guess. But yeah, we're in the thick of it.
Yeah, so lots to be seen. Red Wings still in the mix. Blue Jackets still in the mix. I don't know if you guys had seen it, but this NHL player for the Red Wings, Dominic Shine, just made his debut for them, which was pretty cool. He's been with the organization for a long, long time. I think I said he was with the Grand Rapids Griffins from 2016-17. Then he went back to Northern Michigan for the second half of that year, and then he was with the Griffins until this season. So he's been there for 8 years, which is pretty rare for the American Hockey League. Definitely a Detroit boy. He's from that area, from Pinckney, Michigan, apparently. So right in that area. Yeah, went to Northern Michigan University for 4 years, and pretty cool little story. He's 31 too, so pretty late, obviously, for an NHL debut. But that's really cool. He had his mom was
And
there.
5'11".
Or not his mom. His wife was there. 5'11". Yeah, that does make it tough too.
And he's got a couple of kids, I think I saw, that were at the game. You probably had to buy a lot of tickets for family and friends there for that game.
Yeah.
He had 1 year in the AHL where he had 141 penalty minutes.
Oh my God. Seriously? That's crazy.
It's also impressive. Like, I feel like normally in AHL you do get moved around a lot. Like, to just be on one team for that long.
Yeah, like they wanted him enough to keep re-signing him, and he felt like he didn't need another opportunity. Like, he wants to play, for his hometown team eventually, and that's the path. And he just ground it out, I guess. And he did. Yeah, he had some rough seasons here too. I mean, 4 goals, 10 points, or 10 assists, 14 points in 50 games in 1920. Ugh. That's tough, but he had a good year a couple of years ago. So I guess the year that he had the PIMS, all those PIMS, was one of his best years. So we'll see if he sticks around for the long term for the team, or if it's just filling in while people are injured, and then he probably won't be able to hold a spot on the roster.
Right. I assume he's got a league min.
He did,
contract?
league min deal.
Yeah.
1 year deal.
I forget if that is. Does he have to clear
2
waivers
years,
now to
excuse
get
me.
sent back down?
It's a 2-year, 2-way contract. I don't know if he has to be.
If it's a 2-way, then I think no.
I think that's.
Well, I think the
I'm
2-way
not
is
sure,
just the
though.
money that he makes at the AHL level versus the NHL level. So I'm not sure if he.
I think 2-way contracts mean you can go back and forth.
Yeah.
Brendan will do some research and make me tech edit.
Yeah, I guess. There you go. So, yeah. Anyways, fun little story there. Another minor deal that happened recently was the Islanders trading for Scott Perunovich for a conditional fifth in the 2026 draft from St. Louis. So he'd spent a little bit of time there. Depth defenseman. Sounds like Isles fans are pretty happy about it. I guess
Happier than the last defenseman they got.
Yeah, right. I don't know how he's been doing. I haven't really kept up with the whole D'Angelo saga there.
Yeah.
If he's even here yet, or I think they might have sent him to Bridgeport too. Like they might have waived him. Yeah, that's
looks
all
like
I
he
really.
played yesterday and got an assist
Oh, okay. Well,
against the Avs in that big win for the Isles.
they're on like a win streak, aren't they, right now? Let's see. They're on a 5-game win streak. Zane was mentioning that. He's like, do they somehow do this? Like, squeak in? And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. But, yeah, they're only 4 points out of a playoff spot right now, and they've got some games in hand on some of the folks that they're chasing. So, it could happen. It's just, I don't think it will. Like, I just don't believe in this group this year. I don't know
They have to
about you guys.
jump a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to have to do well, and a lot of the other teams around them are going to have to fall off, which is a lot to ask for, especially when you just haven't really seen like a ton of great flashes on offense from this team this year. I don't know. I just don't see it personally, but you can dream. Yeah, 135 goals for the year. That's pretty low. Actually, just scrolling through, I haven't seen many teams lower than that, or any. LA is also at 135. That's actually a little surprising. Flames
Bruins are at 141.
Bruins, yeah.
They played 3 more games,
Ducks.
which means goals per game is probably pretty close between the Bruins and the Islanders, which is a little gross
A little
to think
scary.
about.
Yeah.
The Bruins have the second worst point differential in the Eastern Conference.
Oh,
Pittsburgh is the only team that's worse.
minus
Which
40.
is,
Oh god. That
The
is a
West
little
has plenty
scary.
of bad teams, though. The Sharks are
Huh?
minus 50. Said the West has plenty of bad teams. The
Oh,
Sharks are
yeah.
already minus 57.
Whew. Yeah, remember when I said I don't think that they're gonna be last in the NHL this year? Well,
And then they trade. Well, they might not have been if they didn't trade away their good goalies.
right. That's true. They didn't need to do that, but I could see the Blackhawks still being worse than them by the end of the year. They've been
That's
looking
true.
absolutely dreadful as well. Oh, they just beat Tampa last night. But yeah, not too many interesting stories for the Sharks and Blackhawks, other than obviously watching the rookies and how they're doing with Smith and Celebrini and Bedard's in his second year here. So that's really it for those teams.
Mm-hmm.
We got a couple injury items to discuss. So Nick Cousins out 6 to 8 weeks. I actually don't know what the ailment is there, but that's another loss for the Sens.
All the comments just like hating on Nick Cousins. Like the rest of the NHL is significantly safer for the next 8 weeks.
Did you guys see the Marchand grabbing Cousins' neck with his bare hand during one of the games? I was like, oh my god! I'm surprised they didn't get like penalized in the game or suspended or fined. Like you can't can't do that. That's crazy.
I heard someone say, "Oh well, it was Cousins, so they just said forget about it."
Like okay, we get it. Like yeah, Wes McCauley almost did that to him the other day. So
Apparently it's a knee injury. Cousins collided knee on knee with Jacob Quillen. Did I say his name?
Oh, Quillen, yeah.
Um, so yeah,
I remember hearing about that. Ah, well, that's no good. I mean, yeah,
he's getting different opinions.
not a great player as far as how safe he plays the game, but still don't want people to get hurt. And then, yeah, Kaprizov is also out at least 4 weeks for a surgery, which he needed. I think they were first trying to avoid surgery, and then it wasn't gonna be feasible.
Yeah, at least it's not season ending, but yes, yeah, this says week to week, but also out at least a month. So
And they're just starting to get people back. Like they just got Jared Spurgeon back. I think there were a couple other key pieces for the Wild that were out for a while, like long term, that they're just starting to get back. So it always hurts when you're like finally starting to get a little healthier, and then like another big piece goes down. You're like, oh,
yeah,
can we just have the group that we wanted like together? It's just it's tough, but
Right,
they're still sitting pretty well.
Kaprizov was out for a bit and then came back for I think 3 games, and then I guess he was like, yeah, I need the surgery, or whoever decided that. I was like, oh, it was tough because you had some hope. You're like, oh, he's finally back, and then just plays a couple games and then he's out again. You don't want to take the risk a star like that. So
no, especially with the position that they're in, where they're already in a playoff spot. Like, you definitely want to make sure that you can get him back for the final push for playoff positioning, and then obviously the actual run itself. They could certainly use a deep run in the playoffs. They haven't won a round in 10 years, so yeah, they're definitely overdue.
this was a hot topic in our group chat today. In the last couple hours, the Utah Hockey Club is down to their final 3 names. It's Utah HC, Utah Mammoth, and Utah Wasatch.
Yeah. What is that?
It's a mountain
Apparently they have
range.
it's like a mountain range in Utah, the Wasatch Mountain.
Yeah.
I think it's also like a Ute word or something, like a local Native American tribe word as well, for mountain or something like that, or maybe I'm misremembering that things there. But I'd imagine there'd be some type of mountainous logo for that one.
Yeah.
So they pretty much came out and said that the Yeti name and Blizzard and Venom were just not going to be able to work. I guess they ditched Outlaws too, and because that one wasn't performing well or whatever, and they just like, okay, we'll just throw in this wild card one in there, that because this is the first time we had heard of the Wasatch or Wasatch or whatever name. So they have the 3 finalists, and they're gonna have kiosks at the next 4 home games for Utah, where fans will be able to go in person, see some logos and some like branding for those 3 options, and then vote, and then that will determine at some point. They said in between the end of the season and the start of the next season is what they basically said. So we're still not going to know the name for a while now, but this is when they're going to be doing the voting on that. And I guess they're not going to be releasing the pictures online for the branding, which is too bad. We'll see if like a sneaky fan posts it online.
Right.
I don't know. So how you guys feel about the finalists?
I mean, well, you can go ahead, Dad, because we already talked about this.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was a problem with HC too. Didn't they say that?
I thought there was as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd almost go with HC at this point.
No.
Yes,
So
yes, I would.
this was in the group chat. I was like, "There's only one option, right? It's got to be Mammoth." And then Sam was like, "I like HC," and Zane likes HC, and Brendan and I are like, "Gross, no, that's the worst
I
one."
hate
And
it.
then Gifford was saying that all these names suck and they should take another year and get new names. And I'm like, you can't miss another year of branding. You gotta just pick a name and just go with it, whether it's hockey club or not. Like you gotta start getting like an actual logo and merch and all that stuff out.
Yeah, I can't imagine being a fan and waiting for another full season to see what the name of the team is going to be like, especially after them telling you, yeah, this was it. Like, we're going to be going with a name
Who's
for the
to say
start
it'll
of
be any better
next season.
a year from now? Like
Right.
they've
Like, yeah,
already took a year
we're just
basically.
taking more time that we might not have. Yeah, I think Hockey Club is not a good brand to keep around. Like, it has no bite to it, and I don't like the soccer kind of aspect to it. I know, Ryan
True.
Smith is the owner of the Real Salt Lake City or whatever team, but I'm just not a fan of that. So I think Mammoth is the clear winner.
I
I mean,
agree.
unless like the Wasatch logo or branding looks really cool, like I could see how, like, if you're a little more drawn to that logo and like you start to get into it more, that would make some sense. But to me, just based on the names and what I can envision as potential like logos and branding, I feel like Mammoth is the clear choice.
I well, Wasatch, what's it going to be? A mountain with snow on the top, or
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like? It's going to look like Avalanche.
I say,
So,
wait a minute.
and Mammoth is basically a big buffalo, so it's going to look like
I think
a
instead
big,
of like the Buffalo's a side profile, you have to have like a front profile or something. Like,
yeah, I
big.
think they could do some cool stuff
Well,
with like
it's
the tusks and things.
yeah.
yeah, they'll be nicknamed the hairy elephants.
There you go.
The Mammoth.
Utah
Uh,
Snuffleupagus.
yeah, I guess I can see not liking HC, but I don't really like Mammoth either,
Well,
and I
so
don't
for
like
what it's worth,
Wasatch.
on Frank Cervelli's post about this on Twitter, someone made like a poll in the comments, and 496 people have voted. Mammoth is at 73.6%, HC at
Yeah.
16.5, and Wasatch
Okay.
at 9.9.
Okay, yeah.
So if it's down to a fan vote, I'm hopeful that Mammoth will be the winner.
Yeah, well, like
Yeah.
we'll
It's like I
see.
said, it just seems like not a lot of people like Hockey Club, and no
Yeah.
one knows what Wasatch is
Right.
or how to say it. So
So it'll come
Right.
down
Right. Right.
to the local Utah fans that are able to go to the next couple of games here and vote, and hopefully we get some insider info as far as like maybe people polling inside the games, like, oh yeah, this is the consensus pick, and
why don't you just fly there and vlog it?
that sounds expensive.
What's
Plus
our podcast budget again?
budget.
My dad's retired. Maybe he can go.
There we
Yeah.
go. Yeah, head
Yeah.
on
I
over
could
there.
fly for free.
Exactly. It's you don't even need to go to the game. You can probably just like maybe the polling is like in the arena, but before the like ticket entry.
Before the security, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really just here for the vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually
Yeah.
got a flight. I'm heading out. I'm not even watching the game. Yeah, I'm unavailable because actually I'm gonna be going to visit Owen on his little family vacation in Nashville to go see the Sens play in Nashville
Ah,
on Monday. So I'm excited to go do that. That was kind of, we were talking a little bit about that a few months back, and then it didn't seem like it was going to happen because I had somebody else in mind and I hadn't really pulled the trigger yet. And then they opened it up to me last week, so I
nice.
seized the opportunity. It'll be fun to cross that one off my list because I haven't done that one yet.
Mm,
Spent a little time there, so I'm looking
It'd be a
forward
good
to it.
one.
yeah.
Hopefully, it's an interesting game.
Yeah.
But I'll be rooting for the away team. So I'm sure the Preds fans will love me because they're gonna win.
There you go.
Sorry, Owen. Maybe he was like, "Oh, just checking. Which team are you gonna be rooting for? Your ticket might depend on that."
Yeah.
And I should have said, "Well, really, you'd want me to be rooting for Nashville because then the Sens would win."
Right.
But who knows? Maybe this will be one of the rare times where the team I'm rooting for actually does win. It's a lot more fun that way.
Yes.
So, yeah, looking forward to doing that, and I will be flying out of Newark, which I'm not looking forward to, but so be it. It's like
Saved enough money that way, though.
a lot more money saved, yeah,
Yeah.
than if I had flown a little bit closer to me.
Yeah. All right, is it time? Time for Dean's Den. We still don't have a graphic for it yet, but
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah.
maybe one of these days. Maybe
All right.
maybe by the weekend. Who knows? So yeah, we played the second place team, and we were up 3-2 going into the third, and lost 4-3.
Oh,
It was a tough one,
Ooh.
but the guy that had all the goals did not score a single one of those 4 goals. We shut him
hey,
down,
that's
Wow.
good.
but I also didn't score, so my goal streak also ended. But
Oh.
I'd like to think he had a longer goal streak that we ended, but I'm not going to go through his stats because I'm too lazy.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you two shadow each other for the whole game? That
Well,
what
we had
happened?
2 centers, me and Ryan. So yeah, we basically just like stayed on him. Um, well, here I can share a couple clips. Well, so the first goal, we were both in front of the net, and there was a shot from the point, and it ended up going off the shaft of my stick and in. So technically, I did score on my own net.
Oh,
Ah,
great.
I also had an assist, but I didn't really do much. I just kind of gave the guy the puck behind the net, and then he skated and scored. So we don't need to see that.
behind your own net?
Yeah. So I was along the boards and kind of passed it back behind the opposing team's net.
Oh,
Like
okay.
we were on
Ah.
offense.
I thought you gave him the puck and he skated the
Oh
length
yeah,
of the
just
ice.
goes coast to
Good.
coast.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I think
Um,
I factored
I
in
got
on
it.
that.
Yeah, it was a primary assist.
No, he was behind their net, and then me and the other forward were like up, kind of looking for a pass. So all the defense just kind of like collapsed to us, and he was just like just skated right into the crease. This is me. I turned it over to that guy, the guy who's really good, but then it made up for it, so it's okay. This is the tallest guy, number 49 right
Mm.
here. So he was playing center on their team. That's me.
Way to hustle. Way to hustle.
Yeah, it's all about the back check.
Mm.
That was most of my night,
Mm.
keeping him from scoring. I also don't know if if Dad knows how to see the things I shared or not. Like
It says watch stream, and I just
Okay.
clicked on it. I'm
There
a
you go. You
genius.
figured it out.
Genius.
Yeah, I feel like, well, you'll see it. But like I wanted to lift his stick, but then the shot came, and I didn't really know what to do. So I just kind of like moved my stick just enough to to hit the puck. But yeah, we're both lined up like over here. Puck goes to the point, and we both just kind of like
Dink.
turn, but just like, cause I've also had somewhere I try to just block it with my stick, but and then I've stopped doing that because it never works out. Like just get a piece of it and end up tipping it. So this I was just kind of like, I don't know, trying to get my body in the way maybe. I don't even know, but just hit like near my glove.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, yeah, another good game. Played good against the last 2 games against the top 2 teams. So hopefully the next game we can get a win. I don't even know. Can do, I guess, a quick little preview. See who we're playing. We are playing the Unhealthy Scratches.
Ooh.
And they
They
are
sound
last
good.
place.
Yeah.
So
Really?
they are 2-13. So hopefully I have some good news next week on the
Yeah.
pod. And we've dropped to 5th now. We're 7-7-1.
Yep. Oh, it's still decent.
Still a playoff position, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone.
It's a clean 500. You got 5 more games to at least get into a position where we don't have to play. Well, I guess one of the top 2 teams.
Yeah. 5-0. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Dean's Den. Thank you.
Brought to you
thank
by.
Brought to you by
Yeah,
Dean.
no sponsor yet.
Soon. I'm sure of it.
We also had some waiver news. Grubauer got put on waivers.
He has
And
not
then
been
Saad
good.
was also waived for the purpose of contract termination.
Yeah, so he was waived the other day, and then he didn't get claimed, and then they were talking about it today, and the plan was, contract termination to get him a new deal. So I think he cleared waivers today, so he would become a UFA tomorrow and would be able to sign somewhere else. I guess he didn't want to play in the AHL. He really felt he had enough left to get another NHL contract somewhere else. So both the team and the player thought this was the best course of action. There were a lot of jokes about Edmonton picking him up because I guess Stan Bowman has a big affinity for Brandon Saad back when he was with the Blackhawks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he won 2 cups with them.
And he did the Panarin trade for Saad, so I know that was a big point too. I don't know if they'd actually sign him, but I'm sure
It
he's at
depends
least
what the
thinking
new
about it.
contract is.
Well, yeah,
right
you can
now-
just if he can just sign like league minimum and he just wants to play on like a contending team, or if like he actually wants to make some money and just kind of play with another team, like just at least be a regular in the lineup. Like I don't know what he's really looking for.
Yeah, because on his current contract, he had 1 year left at 4.5 per year. So
Yeah, so he sacrificed that like $4.5 million just to get another contract. So I guess
probably the money.
he really just doesn't want to play in the minors.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, yeah, all the power to you, I guess. We'll see if he ends up getting picked up by somebody and ends up making any sort of impact going forward. But I guess,
I think I would.
Worked out.
I think I would go to the minors for $4.5 million and play and ride the buses and eat the soggy subs.
I mean,
for
it
a year.
depends. Yeah, the travel's a lot worse, and like
Yeah, but
I don't know. I'm sure if he used to be in the NHL for so long that like he has been, it's like I'll take a pay cut just to not have to deal with that or whatever.
right.
Yeah. Dealing with the whole group of guys, and you never know. Yeah, what's gonna happen if people are gonna get called up? It's just whole other situation. So yeah, you probably would rather just stay in the NHL. Yeah, get the nice flights instead of the bus rides and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see with Grubauer because you have 24 hours to pick up someone, but I don't know. I don't think anyone's gonna claim him.
I can't see with his cap hit anybody really taking a major shot. Who would realistically want to make that move?
Got a 3.83 goals against average, 866 save percentage.
Yeah, that's why he's getting waived. Like he's had some like halfway decent years in the past, but he's never been like a superstar where it's like, okay, he can definitely bounce back from this and like become a solid goaltender. Like I mean, maybe he can get around 900, 905 kind of deal, hopefully. But I feel like that's pretty much the ceiling, and it's not guaranteed. So I don't know if there are a lot of teams that are like, yeah, we really need that. Maybe like Pittsburgh, I guess.
5.9 million though.
Yeah. See, I think he'll just go unclaimed and then play in Coachella Valley, hopefully find his game again, and maybe get a call back up.
Yeah.
Who's the? Oh, is it Drieger and Decord then? Would be the tandem right now, I guess, for Seattle. Not like it. I mean, they really haven't been doing very well overall. But
No.
yeah, I think it would be Drieger. Or unless he's not there anymore. Yeah, I'm not sure, because I'm not seeing him listed on the roster. So maybe it's just one of these other guys that are just gonna call up from Coachella Valley. Yeah,
Man, I love that there's 3 hockey games on right now, and they're all at intermission.
That
Cool.
that happens so frequently. It's very infuriating. Just take
There's
it.
all 3 games can be are still potential shutouts after 2 periods.
Yeah, that's true. Leafs are getting shut out right now. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Want to see the roster. Oh, there we go, roster. I'm just taking a look and seeing who the Coachella goalies are right now. Okay, yeah, so it is these 2 guys, Alice Steska and Nikil Koko.
How many NHL games do those guys have?
Czech and Finnish. I don't think either of them have any NHL experience. So
Maybe that'll get Seattle into the playoffs. It'll just be some really good young goaltender.
like Dobesh,
Yeah.
he did finally lose his first game, which was kind of crazy. Like he had quite the run there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see stats. Yeah, so this one guy, Stetska, has not played in the NHL yet, and let's see about Coco. Looking like no, he has only played 1 season with Coachella Valley. So, yeah, I think these guys. I mean, they're both European, Czech and Finnish, so they just came over to North America now. So I wouldn't expect them to be really backing up anytime soon, other than right now just to see if they can get Grubauer jump started. Right. That stuff happens, yeah. We'll see. We'll see how long Dobesh sticks around too. I know there was like some stuff between him and Primo a little bit, because obviously Primo's fighting for that backup role as well. But yeah, there's only so many spots, so yeah, someone like you give somebody an opportunity and they can go pretty far with it. But it can also be a Grubauer.
Yep.
860, you know. That's tough. But yeah, that I think, I mean, unless you guys had anything else, I didn't have like a ton on the docket. It was a little bit shorter in between recording sessions this time around, because we just recorded last week on Friday.
Yep.
So not as much going on. Obviously, we're getting closer and closer to the pause for the Four Nations face-off tournament. So we'll be looking forward to that, and again, we'll see what the captains' announcements are like, and who Pietrangelo gets replaced by in the Canadian lineup. There were a couple rumors, like Uyghur, Dougie Hamilton, Drew Doughty was floated out there. I wouldn't be too surprised to see him.
If Doughty even ends up on the team.
Right. He was supposed to play for the Kings tonight, I think. Drew Doughty, right? His first game back.
I think he was. Yeah, he was getting close to his return. He might be in the lineup tonight. If we can take
check box score.
Yeah, check it.
Yep, he's a -1. He's already played 15 minutes in 2 periods.
Wow.
So
he's back then.
Yeah.
He's back in full force, but they are losing right now.
Yeah.
But who knows how much of that is on him. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, if he's looking strong, I don't know when Canada will have to make their decision on that. I think it's like
I think
48
it's like-
hours before the tournament.
Yeah,
something
like a
like
day
that.
or two before.
So they haven't made any announcements yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was him. I could see Uyghur. I could see Hamilton. I could see Doughty, of course. Bouchard, even there's some options. Unlike Sweden was a little more strapped with the Ersson selection there, because there's just not as many Swedish goalies. Hopefully, not too many more injury replacements though, and we could just watch the tournament.
Right. It's also interesting that there's no like trade freeze during this. So someone was saying that the GMs will be bored without any hockey games, so there'll be a bunch of trades.
I will be interested to see what happens there.
I've also heard that some people expect that there'll be trades just before the tournament starts, because instead of waiting till the trade deadline, they're afraid that one of their players that are going to be in the tournament might get injured, and they have more value now, so they will trade them before the tournament. So,
Or if you're a gambler, you think maybe there'll be more eyes on them when they get an increase in value if they play well in the tournament.
True.
Could happen, but then you might want to keep them because they're that much
You're
better.
right.
The trade deadline is March 7th this year, so we've still got a little more than a month to go before that, but we'll be certainly clamping down as we get closer and closer, taking a look at the pending UFAs and who's likely to be dealt and all that good stuff. We had a couple years now where there's been a lot of deals a couple days before the deadline, and then the actual deadline is not as exciting as it always is, because like a lot of the big names have already went. We'll see if that happens again this year. But,
Well, also they're cracking down supposedly on the like pre-trade deadline talks, or like whatever, talking to teams before trades happen.
Right.
All that last year where like all these trades came in. It's like, wait, you shouldn't have been able to make these trades happen so quick or whatever, right?
you mean for I think you're talking about for free
Oh no, I'm
agency.
thinking, that's free agency.
Oh yeah, the free agent signings. Yeah,
You
Yeah.
can sign. You can or you
The other
can, you can
other
trade
big
now.
day.
Yeah, but that one, I would expect we wouldn't see as much. But well,
That was
you never
like
know.
crazy last year, right? Wasn't it?
There were a lot.
12:01 a.m. on July 1st.
Yeah.
All these
Or
signings.
whatever the time is. Yeah.
Yeah, there's it's like noon or I don't remember, something like that. But
But maybe the
Looking forward
Rantanen
to it.
trade. Maybe other teams are like, oh, we've got to go big now. So we'll see.
Mm.
an interesting time to be watching the league for sure.
And an okay time to be a Bruins fan, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully a better stretch for them going forward, and we'll have to get your guys' take one more time as we get closer to the playoff picture. We'll have Steve back.
We can have
on.
a Bruins quad
April.
box episode with Zach.
Yes, that sounds intense.
Yeah.
I'll have to be the voice of reason, I think.
Yeah, you can be the moderator.
That fits my MO though, doesn't
There
it?
you go.
Well, thanks, Steve, so much for
Hey,
coming
thanks
on.
for having me.
It was
Great.
awesome.
Thank you. Hopefully it won't wait another year or so.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
get
get
you
you on
back.
again.
We'll
All
see.
right.
We'll see you real soon.
Sounds good. All right.
All
Take
right.
it easy, guys.
Thanks.
See ya.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Do you know how to hang up?
I probably can figure it out.
Yeah, I think
so.
I'm trying to remember. I think
Sure.
last year you hung up like mid sentence or whatever.
Let's see. Oh, I see it. Disconnect. See ya.
There you go.